Oklahoma, 23-21. The Sooners get the win. They're now 8-2. Maybe better question here is, what do we make of Oklahoma moving forward? And what's the potential of them being a playoff disruptor, potential national champion? And I can recall, I think it was last week on Read and React, we put a lot of these teams together and we discussed, the ands and ifs they were to make it into the playoffs, Greg. And, some of the teams outside of, your top 2-3 contenders, I kind of pointed to Oklahoma as I was like, if you want an outlier, a more dangerous team in the playoffs that nobody's talking about, I would probably take the Sooners, because you have a takeover front that can dominate a game, and you have a takeover player that can essentially put you on his back and go win a game in John Mateer. Now, has that shown up consistently every week? No, of course not. It hasn't been that. There have been a lot of flaws. There have been a lot of things you look at and say, yeah, you're not going to be able to get away with that every week. You're not going to get those plays, those throws, those runs. And it wasn't a lot different against Alabama, honestly. Like you said, I think their longest play from scrimmage was 28 yards. But moved the chains enough, did enough things well to be able to maintain possession. They get Missouri and LSU. I actually don't think that either of those are a bad matchup for them. I will say this. I'm interested to see, Ahmad Hardy against that defense, because if you go to – here's the perfect litmus test for what Oklahoma has this week with Missouri. You go to Mississippi State last year against that team. So I went back and watched Missouri-Mississippi State from a year ago, expecting to see Nate Noel stretch play, get outside, cut north and south, big runs. And I had forgotten, because we actually did that game last year, it was a duo clinic for Missouri against Mississippi State. Now, that was largely to the fact that State's defense just wasn't bulky enough to hold up against north-south runs. But they went right at that defense and had some big hitters. Those are the plays that I would be concerned about if I were Oklahoma in this game. Is the stretch zone. I think a lot of the stuff that they do can work against that. You're going to get hit a couple times. It's going to happen. I mean, it's just like that. The stretch, the way that Missouri runs it against the moving front Oklahoma has, I mean, it's going to be like Tyson Klitschko. I mean, it's just going to be last man standing. You're both going to get hit. You just got to hope it's not on the chin and maybe hits you on the shoulder and like grazes the ear. Like, you can't take those on the nose multiple times. And the duo plays, the downhill run plays, those are the ones I think Oklahoma needs to be dangerous about next. But I mean, and then two, I mean, John Mateer against those edge defenders, Zion Young, Damon Wilson and company, Sterling inside. Missouri has the ingredients to beat Oklahoma. I have no doubt in my mind. I think if Zollers is the quarterback, I'm going to say it's doubtful. I mean, you just mentioned, you talked about it earlier, that like Ty Simpson was beginning to see some of those things. That rush, those looks were affecting him. You can imagine a kid making his third start. Probably not going to go well, just with what they show, what they do, how they operate. But there are some pieces there to make that game real dangerous. What do you make of Oklahoma sort of moving forward after this win against Alabama?
Well, I've liked them from the get-go. My biggest concern has been their offensive line from the jump and their inability to run the ball. I mean, they profile a lot like Alabama. I mean, they really do. I mean, all things considered, is that not a big part of I mean, granted, a little bit different. Bama's defense is not as disruptive, but statistically speaking, they're not that dissimilar. You know what I mean? If you really look at it. Now, I don't think I would take Oklahoma's personnel along the front for sure. But if you look at the numbers and the yards given up, points given up, scoring defense, all this other stuff, like they are pretty dang similar on defense. So I think that's something to take into account. The other thing I would say about where Oklahoma is I think it's hard to gauge what they were in October because their quarterback was at far less than 100%. He did not play well. He missed throws, and he pressed, and he did things that were unnecessary. So that's what I would probably be looking at most closely. Do they have a quarterback that can elevate his play, and will he resist the urge to go out and try to do too much? Because my biggest fear with him is him doing too much. And that's been my biggest fear with him. And he didn't do that in the Bama game. He was smart, took what the defense gave him, and played a good quality game. Will he be able to do that in the playoff, resist that urge? I don't know. We'll see. But that's the biggest key to me when evaluating Oklahoma.
I don't think there's any doubt. All right, let's get your thoughts on this Alabama loss, what that means moving forward. We'll start out with Jason and Pelham. What's on your mind today, Jason?
Well, it's probably my fault since I went to the game. I got about 1 million texts, of course, after I left. But what's on my mind is I think when you look at the stats, that kind of makes everyone go, hey, this wasn't as bad as it felt, looked, and seemed. But I know, Greg, you were there. That stadium was on fire. It was electric. So it was really disheartening to say, hey, if you're going to lose a game with this type of support, it really kind of took the wind out of you when you were leaving. But as you look back, you're like, hey, we did this to ourselves. So there's no one really to blame but yourself. Ty had a terrible game. He hasn't been looked great the past couple of weeks. But, you know, you're mad at Talty for missing the field goal. Then you get to realize, hey, the snap was high. Talty, you know, he got fired up. He got mad at the snapper, which made me feel better about him. Like, good, show some fire for things going wrong because you're going to get blamed for it. But then when I rewatched him get angry, like, is it legal to leapfrog the long snapper? And, I mean, that really stuck out to me when 44 came over. I really thought that was illegal, but maybe it's not if you –
No, you can if you're lined up within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. If you're lined up within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, it's legal.
He wasn't. That's 44. He came from 7 yards back.
Okay, let me pull the clip because I would venture to say that's not true, but I'm going to pull the clip just to be sure. The other thing I would say about Talty, you're a kicker. Shut your mouth. If you want my opinion. I'm being dead honest. Like, the snap was high. Yeah. I get it. Hey, guess what? Like,
but it got down.
The ball got down. It's 36 yards. Make the freaking kick. Like, I got news for you. Too. You know how many times William Vallejos gave me a bad snap? A bunch. It happens. This guy's got to block a 300-pounder in front of me. You know what I mean? Like, he's willing to put his body on the line for my protection. And there were a bunch of times where he had delivered a slightly off-target snap. You know how many times I undressed him? 0.
Yeah, man.
Because that's not what you do.
What do you think about Grubb?
He's doing his best.
Did Grubb call a good game in your opinion? Because
I actually like the plan.
I don't feel like he did. Like why don't we run screens against some? Why don't
they ran screens? The receivers got blown up. Receivers got blown up on screens. They ran some early.
Yeah, they had a middle screen that got blown up. They had a couple screens that just got eaten alive. I mean,
Kip Lewis wearing them out. I mean, the 10 and 11 were out there crushing them, and the receivers didn't block well on them, so they didn't really have a chance to get going. And the pursuit got there quick. I think they kind of canned the screen game because of how active those linebackers are.
And I'm looking at the field goal now. Taylor Wine is
blown up.
By the way, looking back at the field goal right now, the guy that jumps over the center is within a yard of the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
In a 2-point stance.
Okay.
So it's beside the point. It doesn't matter. I mean, make the kick. Man up and make the kick instead of blaming everybody when you're 11 of 17 this year. Like, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, we appreciate the call. I don't know if we need to go too much further into the kicking situation, but I think you and I are on the same page with it. Let's go to Michael in Birmingham first, and then maybe we come back to it. What's on your mind, Michael?
Hey, good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
Morning. Doing well, thanks.
So first thing I wanted to kind of test on, get y'all's opinion, was the special teams when we had Ryan Williams back there behind Cole Adams. And do you think, like, the setup of that, and I guess the reason why I'm asking this question is because Ryan is prone to drops. I know he's a smaller receiver, Greg, but we had Smitty that was, kind of identical in size. But I'm just wondering, like, maybe his hands aren't as strong, like holding on to the ball, or even covering the ball. He's, had drops that's hit him in the chest, or went to the ground hard this year. But like as a punt returner, I feel like he would be there more as a decoy and kind of go more sure-handed with Cole Adams. But I'm just a fan. Not I'm not out there calling plays or anything like that. But then my next thing was, do you think the O-line played better? And Cole, do you think the O-line and the D-line played better against Oklahoma than they have in past weeks? So that's just kind of my two questions I got for y'all.
No, I appreciate the call, and I appreciate you listening to the show. It's going to be hard for me to say that the O-line played better. I didn't think this was one of Brailsford's better games. Left tackle got beat on a couple of pass rush one-on-ones. Right tackle got beat on a couple pass rush one-on-ones. The middle three did not sort out things as well as you'd like them to. Now, it's tough going with this group. I mean, it's going to be tough to see, and you got two D tackles that are going to on the field at the same time, and it's not just those only two. There's two other ones that'll come in. All four of them are going to be in the NFL, and they could tee off on you and probably win 85-90% of the time, but instead they choose to move laterally the majority of the time, and then you don't know where that replaced defender is going to be coming from. It could end up – they did a nice job turning two-man games into three-man games where the linebacker was then a part of it, and you saw the replaced linebacker show up right where the play was going to be 4 or 5 times, where it's blocked up well at the point of attack, but then you got a second-level defender that just runs through and you don't see him or you don't know he's there. You just have to be aware of how it's going to operate and where it's going to go. It's tough. It's tough to manage. Greg talked about some of the protection stuff. I don't think Parker Brailsford is intentionally allowing a linebacker to run through the A-gap as much football as he's played. So I don't know where the breakdown is. I don't know where the communication is, but they got to get that short up because Greg was right on the call, and I was thinking the same thing when I heard it. You always take the nearest defender first. I mean, if you have 11 on the line of scrimmage and you got to figure out a way to block them up, you take the two guys in the A-gaps or the guy over the center, you take those first. Like those have to be handled first. So I think I can't say they played better. I don't think it was a completely miserable game on the offensive line's part.
No.
I mean, there were times that Ty Simpson had when it was a 4-man rush. I thought they were pretty good. It's when all the extra stuff started happening that they broke down. And I thought the defensive line was solid. I did think a little later in the game, a couple defenders started getting their shoulders turned a little bit, started jumping gaps. I saw a couple edge defenders trying to run underneath blocks. That gave Oklahoma the edge a few times. It wasn't egregious by any stretch of the imagination. I thought they were pretty good, but I thought you had some letdown plays later in that game from Alabama's defensive line that you haven't seen a lot of recently. But all in all, I thought the D-line was pretty good. I mean, you don't even give up 300 yards of offense. That's a pretty good day at the office. So Ryan in Birmingham wants to chime in. Welcome into the show, Ryan.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
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 I had two questions on calls that were made in the Alabama-Oklahoma game. First one being early on, Oklahoma crack blocked an Alabama defender, and they called a blindside block. Wasn't even that hard of a hit, but I was just curious. I mean, do y'all agree with that call, and is that where things are going at this point?
That's a new rule, and it was officiated appropriately. So it used to be you can block from the outside in, but it can't be like malicious, like it's a personal foul. So like basically you have to block the defender head on. So you see illegal blindside blocks on a lot of returns. You see them on punt returns. You see on interception returns. You see, and now you see like on the cracks and stuff when the guy's blocking from outside in. That's a new rule. Probably, what was it, 2 years ago, Cole, that became a new rule? So, yes, that was officiated appropriately, and it's a player safety issue.
Yeah, and I think the misconception there is it has nothing to do with the force of the block. It's the angle.
Correct.
And it's the position on the person being blocked. And when you get that position on somebody, that's when they're going to call it, because they're trying to take the intent away on that block. Those old school ear hole blocks that we all used to get so excited about, like they want those to go away.
Right.
So that's just I don't think it has to be a devastating decleater, knock somebody into the stands for them to call it. And I think that's where, as football fans, we've kind of trained our brain. Oh, when we see this devastating hit that, the back of the guy's helmet is what hits the ground first. Yeah, of course that's going to be a foul. That's not necessarily what it has to be anymore, because they're trying to take the angle away on those blocks. Eric is in Birmingham.
Yes.
Welcome in, Eric.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? I
Doing
think,
great.
like Greg said, I think the offensive game plan was great. But my question is for Greg is two questions. Is that the game's management at the end? Why did they go to a more slow tempo play? And also, I wanted to ask y'all guys about I don't know that y'all familiar with the film guy that comes on YouTube, but he was made a statement saying that the interception that Ty thrown in for the touchdown was an illegal touching, and I really don't understand the concept of why he would say that. So can you kind of explain that, and I'll just sit back and listen.
Appreciate
I have
the
no
call.
idea who the film guy is, nor do I know what would constitute illegal touching in that scenario. Unless the safety that intercepted the pass ran out of bounds. I don't think that would have been the case. So Cole, do you have any idea what that's in reference to before we get to the other question?
I'd have to know the context of what you're asking for on what penalty, how you're asking for that, because I'm with you. I'm not real sure on it. I have to go back and look at it. I will say this: if there wasn't a penalty called, I'm probably not going to spend a lot of time on it. That's just me, though. Like, that's where I am. So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of folks that aren't there and don't like to be there, but I don't really like to talk about what penalties could have or should have been called. I personally don't believe that there are could haves and should haves in football, because if there were, then you would have. It's like a hold on a kick. It should have been lower. Well, it wasn't. Kick the ball and make the field goal. Outside of that part, I want to ask you this, Greg. Have we ever had a study? You know how we have these like robot golf swings and they test the clubs and the ball? Have we ever had that with a football and done like 1,000 kicks with the laces straight and 1,000 kicks with the laces to the left to like prove that it actually does something? I need this Bill Nye the Science Guy back, and so he can like do this kick, like line it up with the laces straight and let a robot kick leg do it like 100 times, and then put it to the left and then put it to the right and kick it 100 times. I'm not convinced that it makes a difference. I'm not. I think we can sit there and say it because none of us know. How do we know? How do we know it makes a difference?
It does, just ever so slightly. Now, the laces are a little pronounced, so yeah, it makes a little bit of a difference, but a good strike shouldn't make a difference. Like, you strike it well, and it's not going to make a difference. But if you don't strike it perfectly, you don't strike it well, then it can have an impact on the accuracy. And frankly, it hurts.
All right, so let's ask this. Have kicks been made with laces left and right?
Yes.
Okay, end of story. Did every ball you completed to receiver hit them in the face mask?
No.
Is every positive rush by a running back, every defensive lineman is pancaked to their back?
No.
Exactly. So circumstances, like, do receivers catch balls with good coverage?
Yes.
Okay. Circumstances.
They even catch balls that aren't perfect spirals sometimes.
And they even drop
It's
balls
crazy,
that are
but it
perfectly
can
thrown
happen.
at times. Like, there are balls that hit guys in the numbers that are dropped. Circumstances are a part of football. Overcome them. That's it. Overcome the circumstances. That's all that there is. I mean, there are times that we had 6-on-5 coming after the quarterback. Get him blocked until he gets rid of it. That's it.
Yes.
That's all there is. If you figure something out, there will be a good outcome. If you can't, there will be a negative outcome. But
Correct.
To pick and choose where a play was circumstantially as to why or why not you could make something happen on it, on one of your teammates publicly, I'm never going to be okay with that. And I'm going to tell you the most egregious part of this whole thing. The most egregious part of this Alabama kicker going after his long snapper in front of 100,000 people and then ending up on television in front of 10 million people, the most egregious part about it is when I tweet something about it during the game, the people that are taking up for the kicker. That's the most egregious part of this. The people who are saying that petulance is okay, that they are okay with a petulant child on a field publicly blaming someone else for their failures. I don't care about the timing. I don't care about the rhythm. I don't care about the vision. I don't care about the laces. Your job is to make the kick. You didn't do it. Go in the locker room and sit in your locker and figure it out. If you want to have that conversation with him in the locker room, that's great. And you can say, hey, man, my operation screwed up when your ball's not exactly where it needs to be. Okay, cool. I'll take that into consideration next time, because what I can tell a lot of folks out there that may not realize this, the one thing that I don't need when I F up is you coming telling me in front of other people how bad I F'd up. I don't ever need that. No one in life needs that. Now, I understand it happens with coach, like Saban's over there spanking A.J. McCarron. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to take place. But when a coach does it, the coach didn't just go out there and also fail. The coach didn't also go out there and have a physical letdown at the same time. So I don't – the last thing I needed was a quarterback coming and telling me, yelling at me and losing his mind in front of the fans that my snap was low. As you stated earlier, a lot of bad snaps that you had to deal with from Vlahos. Did you ever go there and grab him by the face mask or jump up and down and shake your arms in front of him? No. Number one, you probably would have gotten choked on the field. Number two, you knew you needed him for another 62, 72, 31 snaps of the game, whatever it was going to be. So the excusing of it is what I can't handle. The people that are saying, yeah, but the snap was high. Honestly, at that point, it has nothing to do with it. It has to do with what kind of teammate you are and what kind of person you are. And if you're going to try to do that to another guy in front of all those fans, also in front of your other teammates. So the example you're now setting in front of your teammates is we can treat people this way. And that's not right. It's wrong. You don't treat your teammates that way. Because what I haven't seen, what did you say he is, 11 of 17 this year?
Yes.
When the snaps have been perfect, how many times has long snapper gone and jumped in his ear hole on the field? Has the holder jumped up and gotten in his ear hole and told him how bad he is at his job? The excusing of it it's not imaginable for people to sit back there and say, but the snap was high. Was the operation slowed down? Make the damn kick. How many times did you have to move in the pocket before you threw a pass? It's like me walking up to Richard Seymour and saying, hey, man, if you would not bull rush me on this play, I'd really appreciate it because I don't handle that very well, especially from you. Like, sometimes you're going to have a quick defensive tackle. Sometimes you're going to have a heavy defensive tackle. Sometimes a linebacker's going to blitz over you. Like, it doesn't always go your way. You got to figure out how to manage it and control it. And for the people who are excusing that outburst on the field, I got nothing for you. Nothing for you. I don't care if the snap was thrown into the 7th row of the other side of the stands.
It'd be hard
you
to
don't do that. It would be, yeah. He'd have to show off his speed to go chase it down and try to find it. The excusing of the petulance it's not even, it can't be real. These people cannot be serious with what they're doing on that. It's not even fathomable that people think that that's okay. Specifically from that dude with how his season has gone and the position that he plays. Let's not act like you're out there trading paint with outside linebackers on every play. You're playing PlayStation during practice. I'm done. I'm sorry.
I don't know about the PlayStation. I can't confirm that. My thing is, look, you're a kicker. It's a hard job. It's a lonely job. And frankly, a lot of your teammates don't have a lot of time for you to begin with. Because you're a kicker and you operate in your own world. So the kickers, snappers, and punters are all together. Like, if there's one guy that wants to have your back, it's your snapper and your holder, I can assure you. Those are the guys that are going to ride with you and die with you for sure. Because guess what? The outside linebacker has no time for you. Guess what? The wide receiver probably doesn't have any time for you.
Probably doesn't know your name. I mean, just being
probably
real.
doesn't like you, honestly. Because we're all out there grinding at practice, working our tails off, and you're over there sitting on your helmet drinking Gatorade. They don't like you.
Playing hacky sack.
Yeah. So the one guy that you have in your corner are your specialists. So to undress him in front of everybody, it's a 36-yard kick. I don't give a darn where the heck the snap was. Kick the dang ball between the uprights. And hey, I get it. I can't kick. I'm not going to try to pretend like I can. You know what I can't do either? Snap. Not going to try to pretend that I can. You know what I can't do? Block a defensive end. So if you think for 1 second I'm going to go over there and rip my right tackle because he allowed a All-American to get around him and force fumble, that ain't going to happen. But what I can do is I can communicate properly to my guys, and there were plenty of times I got fired up, but it was mostly to try to create a spark. You know what I mean? You want to get fired up, it's to create a spark, not to demean. You want to see me get into someone's face? It's to get a guy going. You know how many times I got into a guy's face? A million. But it was never because I'm trying to undress the guy. It's because I'm trying to fire him up, trying to get a response in a good way, not in a cerebral position. You think I'm going to go over to our punter and say, golly, dude, nice kick. You shanked it. No, not going to happen. When Lee Tiffin missed an extra point against, Texas in the national championship, you think I went out there and was like, what the heck was that? No. Never in a million years, because that's a cerebral position. Everyone's doing their best. And I think this is a really, really good team, a really tight-knit group. And I think they deserve immense respect for that. And I think the reason why they're tight is because of what happened in week 1. And the outside noise really galvanized the bunch and brought them together. They got to continue with that. And they have had each other's back through hard times, by the way. Guys have dropped passes. Ty's had their back. Ty has missed throws. He's had their back. They haven't run the football. They've had Jam's back. They haven't, early they didn't stop the run. You didn't see Deontay Lawson going up there and yelling at London Simmons because they didn't, get enough push up front along the defensive line. No, they have each other's back. And that's what you got to do. So hopefully there's a private talking to with Talty. And if they need to open it up for snapper, because guess what? They put the backup snapper in later in the game. So if they got to open it up for competition, then so be it. But don't undress your guys. It's never going to end well, and it's certainly not going to end well when you're a kicker that is failing at his job and making less than 70% of his kicks.
Butch Worley's tweeting in on the pick six. I think what the caller was referring to is Horton was a hot route, and he got hit while the ball was in the air, which kept him from the ball and resulted in the interception. The contact was quick, but I mean, it looks like the defender is almost kind of trying to make a play on the ball, and then they collide into each other. It's bang bang. I mean, the ball's right there. So I don't think that I would have called that
like illegal contact on the receiver.
Yeah, because the safety comes over.
Touching.
The safety comes over and they make contact like right as the ball gets to him, as he breaks in. I don't think Horton saw the ball.
No, the ball had to come out crazy quick. You know why? The ball had to come out crazy quick because he gave up A-gap pressure. Which, by the way, as a quarterback, you get A-gap pressure, you got no shot.
I don't think he had a shot at catching that ball either, because I'm looking at where the ball is based on if the contact didn't even take place. I think the ball's outside. I don't think he's getting to it. Well, it's technically inside because it's towards the middle of the field, but yeah, I don't think he's getting to the football.
You got no shot. You just hope that your mistake doesn't turn into 7 points for the other team. You got no shot to complete that pass. Like none. So I don't think a penalty was warranted. Didn't look like it to me. By the way, I don't recall Ty going up and yelling at Wilcom Formby after that play, did he? Or Parker Brailsford or Michael Carroll. No. You know what Ty did? He ran back and almost died on the field trying to make the tackle. Well, no, because that's what you do when you're a good teammate. You know who also almost caught him? Michael Carroll. Big old number 64 almost caught a safety.
He also didn't try to slide tackle him.
No, yeah, he didn't do a kick slide. Imagine that. against Oklahoma, no less. So, like,
Yeah, if
mistakes
anybody
happen.
thinks that this is like a kicker thing or whatever, I did the exact same thing I said the exact same stuff for Alabama's quarterback in this game last year. Can't do it. Can't do it. I don't need you going and getting in your receiver's face after you throw a pick. Don't do it. I don't care how good you are, how much you're getting paid. Not going to happen.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
They
Can't
have
do
a
it.
lot better their quarterback play this year.
100%. But yeah, but I'm saying that like my thoughts on this are not relegated to a kicker. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I'll do it for anybody.
It's being a teammate. You think
All right,
I
more your
undress
calls?
Cole? You think I undress Cole when he has a really bad box score?
Some of these teams you should be
It's called
undressing
bad
that
box
go
score. Why would he?
that go 2 for 30 from 3. You know.
I mean, do I yell at Cole when he teases someone that's not coming up the next segment? No. Does he
No,
yell
that
at
happens a
me?
lot, yeah.
Does he yell at me when I'm sneezing into the microphone because I can't press the cough button in time? Because my allergies are relentless? No. Like, you're a good teammate.
Can't do
He
it.
probably could yell at me a couple times, but hasn't. Not yet.
Cannot do it. Cannot do it. All right, more on this game, more of your feedback when we come back next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys being part of the show today. 800-239-9569. You'll have to wait to get back into the show and give us your opinions on Alabama's game over the weekend. One thing you never have to wait for, GMAC, is your dental care.
That's because Family Care Dental has you taken care of at the urgent care office, so you can be seen the same day. Several locations to make it easy on you. Hoover, Fultondale, Homewood, Alabaster, Trustful, you name it. They're all over the place. They've done an incredible job. They can get you in on Fridays and Saturdays. They can help you out with most insurance plans. And they can also see you really any time of the day. Make it sure you get it in the calendar now. So schedule your appointment with Family Care Dental. 874-9605. That's 874-9605.
All right, let's go back to the phones. John is in Birmingham, wants to chime in. Welcome into the show, John.
Hey, guys. Cole, you're absolutely right as it comes to Talty. And the problem is this is a loser mentality. You guys want it. Greg, you would want the ball on the final drive. You would want the ball to score. Cole, you would want to block their best defender. Talty doesn't have what it takes to make the kick. He doesn't want to make the kick. And what I mean by that is when the pressure is highest, he cannot perform. And it's a loser mentality to immediately blame others when you fail. And he did this earlier in the year with the laces in, laces out. Now he does it with the long snapper. And now we're in a position we only have 2 games left, one, cupcake game, and then we have the Iron Bowl. It's hard to put the second string kicker in that situation. And so I think DeBoer should have handled this earlier in the year. I've seen Talty. He's got more of the physical capabilities of making longer kicks. But when you have a loser mentality, you will not perform when you need to most. And all these people, Cole, that respond, that defend, that pettiness is because they have loser mentalities. And I don't want that on Alabama. Can't stand it. I'm glad you're calling it out. So we'll see what DeBoer has in store, but somebody needs to have a strong talking to him. I think he should publicly say something about his actions, but I guess we'll see. But that's all I wanted to say is, no time for loser mentalities on championship teams.
Appreciate you chiming in, listening to the show. I'm not going to be as concerned about something publicly because I think it's within the team. It needs to be handled there. I know it was done publicly, but I would say that's more between them, and some of that might not be our business. All right, we'll get to one more break. Come back next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate all the feedback coming in today and all you guys being a part of the show. We have a lot more college football to get to. We are going to announce this year's class of the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame with Scott Myers on the other side of the break. So that's going to come your way. The first you'll hear about that, it's going to be next on Mac and Cube. Tyler Watts at 9, Richard Hendricks at 9:30. Remember, you can always listen online at jocksfm.com. You can grab the app, listen there in your app store, iPhone, Android, download it for free. That'll direct you to the YouTube page where you can watch us live every morning. That's at Jocks945. And don't forget, you can always just tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill.
Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC Dealer of the Year, the national champion of GMC dealers. Go and see him. It's a short drive up I-65, exit 310, Highway 31. And you'll be so glad to see all the deals that you have on the lot, like a GMC Sierra 1500 that you can take $15,000 off the sticker price. You can get it for $52,770 when here locally you'd be paying somewhere in the vicinity of $67,770. It is really rough to think that you could potentially be paying that much, and all you got to do is take the short drive up to Coleman. There's a reason why they have 75% repeat customers. That's because you have a better experience when you shop with Andy Cole and Jonathan Yeager. So take a short drive up to Coleman. You'll be glad you did. You can also shop online to get Alabama's largest discounts and their best possible experience. They're the #1 in Alabama for a reason. So go see the GMC Dealer of the Year, the 5-time national champion in a row, 8-time overall at Bill Smith Buick GMC. You can also shop online. Have delivered to your driveway at billsmithbuickgmc.com. We are professional grade.
Who is going into this year's class of the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame? We will break that news for you next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is 8:45 Monday, November 17th, right here on Jocks. Before we reveal this year's Alabama Sports Hall of Fame class, I need to tell you about Gusty Goulis and the Gusty Goulis Group. If you're looking for a new home, call 205-542-1996 today, or just go to gustygoulisgroup.com. You'll see a button, top right-hand corner of the page. Smash that button for very little information. You're going to find out what they can get for your home today. Brokered by eXp Realty. Serve more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. And if you Google Gusty Goulis Group, you're going to see over 855 star Google reviews. 205-542-1996. If you need to get into a new home, you want to know what yours might be worth, let Gusty Goulis help you. Call the Gusty Goulis Group today, 205-542-1996. Scott Myers joining us now from the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame to help us reveal this year's class that's going to be inducted. And there's some big names that folks are going to recognize. But, Scott, tell us first, before we actually get to the list, who's going to be in this year, how you guys go about coming up with the nominees and deciding who actually goes into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Well, good morning, Cole and Greg. Good to talk to you guys. We have a pretty thorough process that we go through every year with, over 300 nominees. We whittle it down to a ballot, and then we send the ballot across the state to 80 various voters all across the state of Alabama, representing every congressional district. And then from that, they send their ballots in to PricewaterhouseCoopers to actually tabulate the ballots, and then they send us the results here. Our board will ratify those results, and gets us to the point right now we have called our class and shared with them the news that they've been selected for induction, and we're just now, for the first time, going to announce it here with you guys.
All right,
so,
let's get to
please,
Go
without
ahead, Greg.
much further ado, we're ready. Let us know where it's going.
Well, again, one of the most fun things I get to do is make those phone calls, but I will start just alphabetical order for the class of 2026. So Jeff Brantley, baseball, originally from Florence, played at Mississippi State, and then had a tremendous career in Major League Baseball with San Francisco Giants, a number of other teams, all-star, led the National League in saves. Second, Jason Campbell, originally from Mississippi, played football at Auburn, 2004 SEC Player of the Year, had a 10-year career in the NFL. John Copeland, football, University of Alabama, SEC Consensus All-American, 6-year career in the NFL. Kim Evans, golf, from Decatur, Alabama, originally played golf at Auburn University and then went on to coach, win 8 SEC championship titles, 5-time SEC Coach of the Year, and National Golf Coach Association Hall of Fame. Evan Mathis, football, originally from Homewood, Alabama, played at the University of Alabama, first-team All-SEC, 12-year NFL career. Ray Odoms, basketball and football, played basketball at the University of Alabama in the early 70s, All-SEC there, and then had a 10-year career in the Canadian Football League. Tremendous athlete on 2 different sports. Coach Les Studeman, softball from Tuscaloosa, played in Huntington and was the first softball coach at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. 26 NCAA tournament appearances, 10-time Gulf South Conference Coach of the Year. And finally, a name that everybody will be familiar with, Coach Tommy Tuberville, or Senator Tuberville, who, of course, coached at Auburn, was SEC Coach of the Year, AP Coach of the Year. Before retiring, was one of the top 50 most winning coaches of all time. So those 8 individuals are the class of 2026 for the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Man, it's so cool to hear. Specifically, some guys that I know Greg and I are both so close to. A guy who coached me in Tommy Tuberville, a guy that I played with in Jason Campbell, a guy that went to the same high school as me, Evan Mathis. That's one thing that's so cool, Scott, about the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame is so many of us that live here, that grew up here, we're going to have so many ties to these individuals that are inducted every year. I think that's why it makes it so much more fun to talk about and have that released on our show today. So we appreciate you doing that. What sticks out to you in this class that's maybe a little bit different or a little bit special?
Well, every year it's unique, and it's amazing how we have, some you look at some of these names, you're like, "Oh, I thought he was already in," and that type stuff. But one of the reasons, other than the fact that I love listening to you guys show, and I know both of you personally, I thought this would be a fun class to announce on your show and let your because of the connections you guys have and the relationships you have with some of these guys. So it's a great class in a number of ways. It's diverse, and we've got baseball represented. We've got softball, which is our second softball coach being inducted ever. Of course, Coach Tuberville and Jason Campbell are down there, as you mentioned, Cole, at Auburn with you, and then of course with Copeland being part of the '92 team, and then Evan Mathis with the connection, obviously, with Greg and University, and then of course being the Homewood High School graduate. So just a fun class, but well represented and all well deserving.
So what do you how hard is it to kind of whittle it down to 8? I mean, what's the most you could ever put in a given year?
That's a great question. So our museum and our banquet, everything is kind of geared around 8. One of the things that I've had to do through the years is, our board, well, let's do 9 this year, let's do 10 this year, but it really takes both, time and resources for every inductee. But it's really one of the things that we're trying to determine is, do we need to lift the number some, because we've got an influx of future inductees coming from all across the state. I mean, and it's very tough. So it gets, each year we have basically 4 different categories that we put them in, and the top vote getter in each category is automatically in. And then they decide, the twos, if the twos are coming in for each category, or where the kind of break in the vote is. So it's extremely tough every year, and it's a very tight ballot every year. And we do a 2-ballot process. We'll have 20 football players on there, then they'll whittle it down to 10 in the first ballot, and then the second ballot they pick their top choices. So it's a great process. Once you're nominated, you're always nominated. So being able to be on the ballot any year, if you're on this year and you don't make it, if you do well, you're more than likely going to be on the ballot again next year. But this class, I'm really excited about them. They're all the local ties. Obviously, there are tons of local ties because they're all Alabama natives or connected to the state in some way.
Well, we appreciate you sharing it with us first, Scott. Was there any kind of a different cool story on one of those phone calls that you got to make this year when you said you call and let the guys know?
Again, that's the most fun thing I get to do in this job, and it's an honor to do it. Just the emotion, quite frankly. Some of them were just really speechless, just couldn't, just choked up a little bit, and it just means so much to them. And then, some you got like Ray Odoms, who's been on the ballot a long time, and him being selected finally as part of our senior group was he was really excited. But again, all across the board, they're just so thankful. And if they've been out a little while, it gives them time to kind of reflect on their life a little more. So those kind of real emotions are part of that process. And it just, again, it sharing this kind of news with somebody, just again a significant privilege that I have the honor to do.
Do they know they're on the ballot? Like, if they've been on there for a while, do those individuals know that?
Not necessarily, Cole. We don't publicize our ballot. It's been that way prior to my arrival, and I've kept that. It's because you don't want to be that guy that's been on the ballot for 10 years and never made it. And or, of course, being on the ballot's a privilege as well. But we don't want that to be part of the story. We want it to, because nobody knows if this was their first time on the ballot or their 10th time on the ballot per se, unless they've called. If somebody calls and says, "Hey, I would like to know if so-and-so is on the ballot," then we'll share that information. But we don't send out the ballot to the media intentionally. But we can share that with somebody if they want to know. But yeah, it's a great process, but we don't share that throughout the year.
Yep. Well, we appreciate you sharing that with us first today. It's really cool to be able to hear it here. And as you stated, just some of the connections Greg and I have to these individuals makes it a little bit more special. Appreciate you coming on and doing it, Scott. And where can everybody find the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame if they need to?
Well, our website, ashof.org, and of course, we're on social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook. I do realize, though, looking at your post with my photo up there, that's about 2 decades old photo. So I need to get you guys some new photos over there for the next time y'all have me on. But really appreciate you
We
guys
do that
and all
for
you
a
guys
reason,
do for
Scott.
sports in Alabama. Yeah,
We
thanks,
do
Greg.
it for a reason. We're going to keep it there for indefinitely. You're perpetually 32 years old.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Well, hey, appreciate all you guys do for us and for the state of Alabama in sports.
Thank you. Scott Myers there of the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, that class for this year. You heard it on the show here first. Jeff Brantley, Jason Campbell, John Copeland, Kim Evans, Evan Mathis, Ray Adumas, Les Studeman, and Tommy Coverville all getting into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame this year. Pretty cool class. We'll talk more about it next right here on